Blessed be my witches, my spiritualists, and welcome to another episode of Witch Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today we are going to be doing the first part to my weight loss series. Don't look at weight gain or weight loss as something wrong if you're gaining weight, and weight loss is something that you need to be aspiring to, okay? It's about checking in with yourself, is what it's about. We need to understand that at some point in time, your world is going to be upside down. You're not going to know what's going on. And eating is actually a way of your body being able to feel a sense of security. I was going through a very, pivotal time in my reality, and I gained a lot of weight. And I don't feel bad about gaining that weight. I did what I needed to do at that point in time to be able to give myself the self-care that I needed. And frankly, if I had tried to starve myself or try to stop myself from having that experience, I could have caused myself some serious damage. Right? So I went with the flow of things. I knew that this was a moment in time, and I also knew that if I dealt with it in the correct way and the correct manner, I would get through it swifter. Okay? I've had fluctuation of weight my whole life, and I have found that when I am in a state where I'm ready to lose weight, when I'm ready to be this size, I know. And I also know when I'm ready to have a few sandwiches and gain some weight because I need to be quote unquote nesting or creating an environment where I feel comfortable and safe and so on and so forth. I know this, right? And I am constantly working all different types of spells and magics to be able to ensure that I am balancing out my reality in a way that's conducive to me being able to really grow and learn via experience. And that is a very important part for everybody to take into account when they are doing their own self-care. Self-care is not always about what the status quo tells you, darling. Sometimes self-care is having a few eclairs, right? Sometimes self-care is having a few drinks. Sometimes self-care is going out with your friends and just losing your right? Self-care is not always about discipline, okay? Sometimes we need to have complete and total reckless abandon, right, for a little bit of self-care. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that disclaimer out before we went into this. And it's such a very important thing. I mean, I worked in physical fitness for a very long time as well, and what I found was that there was such extremes of spectrum. I met some men and women who were quite large, and they had their life together. They were so powerful and happy, and they were joyous and jolly and all of these things. that's the way they were. And eating was an expression of their love for life, and it was nothing wrong with it. And then there's other people that I saw that were like muscle bound and so on and so forth, honey, and they had very little to hold on to. If you are doing this because it's time for you to put in that self-care that you feel you need, right? Not because you feel guilty or bad or, you don't fit into the status quo, right? If you're doing it because it's for you, honey, then this is wonderful. If you are doing this because you are causing yourself conflict and pain and you think something's wrong with you, if you're doing that, then you need to understand that there is something else that you need to be looking at first before you can get into any kind of weight loss regimen. Now, I want you to understand, honey, that this is not just about weight loss, honey. This is about weight gain. Right? Because there are some of them people out there who have an issue. Look at Loki. Okay? You can't put on pound. I feel comfortable in my body when I'm bigger. I feel comfortable in my body when I'm thinner. I have gone to a point where I have reached a tremendous amount of weight, and then when I stopped feeling comfortable in my body, I knew it was time for me to be able to go back to a weight where I felt comfortable, right? And then I also understood that there was points in time, I've also experienced the points in time where I was extremely underweight. Again, it's a spectrum. Now, for me, honey, we're talking about a good 150 pounds that I can swing in, okay? Which is okay with that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some people it's like 20, 30 pounds. No. This witch, 150. I have lost 150 pounds in the past, right? So I can swing either way. But again, as soon as I start feeling uncomfortable in my body in either capacity, I will focus my attention on putting myself back into that spectrum, okay? Going with the natural prompts of my body, what it's telling me, right? And let me tell you something, my witches. Sometimes there's nothing more empowering than losing or gaining weight. It's an experience, and you learn from it. That's powerful in and of itself. All right, so let's get into this first part here. So the first part I want you to understand is we're not going to be doing the bath at this point in time because the bath is a wonderful way of doing it. I ordered some more stuff because I've been going through that stuff like nobody's business, okay? But unfortunately, with all of the postal problems and so on and so forth, honey, it ain't coming as quickly as it should. So I'm just going to break it down with you and show you what I do in the interim. So this one is wonderful because it actually has, it's twofold. You're gonna get to learn about resins too. So guys, what we have here is peach gum resin. There's a peach gum too, honey. There's resins for almost everything. Oh. So yes, this resin is absolutely wonderful, and it is great for anything that has to do with, again, illuminating an aspect that you would like to see. It is great for having an experience. It is great for self-control. It is great for self-mastery. It is great for anything that you can think about with having your goals come to a fruition. Okay? Now, peach gum resin is beautiful when you actually take a look at it. It is this amber looking. Peach gum resin has a tendency to also bring in a variable of glamour. So you're going to need your peach gum resin. You're also going to need your censor. You are also going to need a swift light or charcoal briquette and your matches, okay, to get this started. Also, it is good to have a collection of cloths that you can actually drape yourself in. Now, of course, for color correspondence, there are so many variables that you can use, but where we're using this in the weight loss, I'm going to tell you from a weight loss perspective or a weight gain perspective how you could use these, okay? So the purple is good for self-mastery and self-control, right? Self-discipline. It's going to assist you with being able to stay in control of the fluctuations of hunger, all of these variables that come in. And I do intermittent fasting because I feel very comfortable. I normally eat between sunrise and sunset. Okay? So, and I'm not talking about all day long. I'm talking about at sunrise and at sunset. These are the times that I will eat. Right? Now there's a couple of different reasons for this, but we'll go into that in another class. Okay? But I like to be able to stay in those times when I am eating for spiritual connotations. But if it's in the middle of the day, honey, and I'm thinking pizza, right? And I need to gain that control, purple. This can also be used if you want to start eating things, if you need to gain weight, right? Or put on mass, and you need to stick to a regimen to be able to gain mass. You have to have a certain amount of protein within your body. You need to do this, and you're just like, oh, anybody who's gone on any weight gain regimen, let me tell you, you're like, if I have to eat one more piece of boiled chicken, somebody gonna get hurt real bad, right? So if you need to stick to that, darlings, then purple is the way to go. Okay, if you are feeling that your foundations are shaking, you're about to emotional eat, honey, right? You're doing intermittent fasting. You look, honey, you're like, I need to. Okay, this is gonna help ground you. This is gonna help center you. Okay? Even when you feel like giving up, for those who want to gain weight and muscle mass, right? Green is going to help ground you, allow you to focus back on why you're doing this in the first place. And that's very, very important. Okay? So I will use that. Red is for get up and go. Okay? So if your get up and go has got up and left, this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need this bad boy right here. Now, the reason why I like to use the red is because the red is great for finding that energy that may have been lost. Because how many times you get tired, right? You just get tired. And that's what it's like. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. All you want to do is you want to sit at home. You want to eat pizza. And there's something inside of you that's saying, yo, something's not right here, right? You're not doing this for the reasons that you think you're doing them for. Right? And that's what I would use the red for. I will use the red in my fumings just to be like, okay, you know what, it's time to get her done. Let's do this, my witches, let's do this. Now again, this can be used for many different things, guys, but we're only talking about the weight loss and the weight gain in this video. Okay? So, to put in that fire and that action, that movement, and that achievement, we're going to use this. Okay, so what we do now is we go through the fuming stage. So now we have our Swift light here. And what we're going to do is we are going to bless our match and we are going to burn this. Okay, we're going to start this, igniting this. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we are going to light our charcoal briquette here. Now, how do you fume? I'm sure that's the question that you're asking. How do we fume now, Odin? So what we're going to do is we're going to place this into our censor here, okay, with salt in it or sand in it so that you don't burn, and make sure that it's metal. Okay, this is a tuna fish tin that I used these for years when it came to this. Okay, so now we have this all lit. We are going to take a couple of pieces of your peach gum resin, okay? And we are going to bless this with an intent that you're doing. If you're doing this to lose weight, then bless it with losing weight. If you're doing this to gain weight, bless it with gaining weight. If you're doing this to gain muscle mass, bless it with gaining muscle mass, okay? This is what you want to do here. You want to put your intent here. Use whatever beings you would like to use. Elementals, guides, guardians, angels, spirit guides, whatever you want. Okay? Higher self, honey, whatever you feel. Okay? So let's bless this. Okay, so now what are you going to do? You're going to take your resin and you're going to place it on here. So the thing with peach gum resin is it does not release a lot of smoke, but it is beautiful. And you can actually watch. They puff up and they bounce and they tip and they tilt, and it's actually really quite interesting just to watch. Okay? But once you've got this, there's a little bit of smoke coming out here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a chair with a hollow bottom. Okay? And you are going to place this under your chair on the ground. Okay? Then you're going to take your corresponding sheet here. So we're going to take the, let's say we're going to use the red today. Okay? Careful not to burn yourself. Now I didn't make this where it touches the ground. Okay? And you're going to place it over your head. And you are going to wrap yourself in this. Okay? And when you're wrapping yourself in it, you are going to hold it over your head so that you can get the incense, and I can feel the warmth under my feet. And I can already smell this burning and the fumes coming up, okay? So you're going to cover your head, you're going to close the opening, and you are going to stay within this. Now this is going to start to fill with the smoke. It's not going to be a lot, but this is what you're doing with all of your fuming, okay? Sometimes there's going to be a lot of smoke in here, depending on whatever you're using, okay? But I don't know if you can see the smoke starting to come out here, but the smoke is going to be in here, and you're going to breathe it in. This is kind of almost like when you do the smoke ceremonies in Native American cultures, when you are doing the sweat lodges. It's kind of like that. You're creating your own little teepee, right? And you're fuming these energies. You can do this with sage, whatever you'd like as well. So what I do is I will get into this anytime I am having those hunger cravings, or if I don't feel like as if I can get something done if I'm using the red or something's holding me back. I will actually do this process, and I will say a mantra. And the mantra will be for whatever the purpose is, right? Self-control, self-discipline, self-control, self-discipline, self-control, self-discipline, self-control, self-discipline, self-control, self-discipline, right? Action and manifestation. movement and action and manifestation, movement, action, manifestation, movement, action, manifestation. And I will continue to do this, and I will say this mantra until I feel like as if I now have imbued my essence with that vibration. Okay, and when you've started to do that and you started to feel like as if you have it under control, okay, you will remove you will take whatever incense. Now I wanted to show you this. It actually puffs up. Do you see that? This is another reason why I love using this peach gum resin, because the peach gum resin it puffs up. It changes form, right? It doesn't break down. Do you see what I mean? And a lot of people think, well, wouldn't you want it to break down if you're losing weight? No, honey, you're changing your form. You're completely changing your form, either gaining or losing mass. And this is one of the reasons why I like to use my peach gum resin when it comes to weight loss. All right, my witches, my spiritualists, hopefully we will be having all the ingredients that I need to make a new batch of my self-discipline bath. But for now, this is what I recommend everybody uses to be able to deal with the cravings that you're having in regards to eating and whatnot. Alright, so that is our episode for today. If you have not pressed subscribe, you know you need to press subscribe, join the Witch Please family, and do not miss out on a thing. You can follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, as well as Facebook. You can always send me a personal email at witchpleaseofficial@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment below. Don't forget to press that bell icon so you're notified when a new video comes out, because you know you don't want to miss a thing. I said it before, my witches, my spiritualists, and I will say it again. It is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic. And you are always in my heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch Please. I love you, boo boo.